Welcome to Math Movies with Miss Feuer-Beck and Miss Veluti. Today you'll be learning about order of operations, and the problems that we will be dealing with will have several grouping symbols. Let's review the order of operations. Remember, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So we start with parentheses, which includes all grouping symbols, and we have parentheses as the innermost, then brackets, and then braces. We're going to really need to remember these today because the problems we're solving are more complicated and involve them. After parentheses comes exponents. You don't need to worry too much about this right now. Then we have multiplication or division, whichever comes first from left to right. And then finally, we have addition or subtraction, whichever comes first from left to right. So let's recall the order of operations as we're solving. Here's our first problem. First up, we want to make our checklist, and then we will begin solving by looking at the parentheses. Now, with parentheses, you want to start with the innermost first, and so right here we have a bracket, but we also have parentheses. So I'm going to start with the parentheses because they are the innermost. So 9 minus 3 is 6. And then I'm going to copy the problem over. And I have 2 plus 6 in brackets times 10. Now I'm still working over here on P for parentheses because brackets are included in that. So next I will solve 2 plus 6, which is 8. And then I will copy the problem again. And I will check off parentheses. There's no exponents. We're on to multiplication. 8 times 10 is 80. So this problem, the solution is 80. Let's try another one. Again, we need to think about our order of operations, and P is parentheses, but remember that we're talking about all grouping symbols right now. So I'm always going to start left to right, and I'm always going to start with the innermost parentheses. So the innermost parentheses in this problem would be 4 minus 2. So I'm going to solve that and get 2, and then I'm going to copy the problem exactly as it's written. Now I don't need to put the parentheses around that 2, but I do need to include the brackets. And then I need to write plus and continue with parentheses over here. Okay, so I'm going to stick with parentheses for a minute, and I'm going to just finish solving this parentheses right here and solve this bracket, which is 12, and then I'm going to copy the problem exactly as it's written. So I'm still working on parentheses, and I notice that in this parentheses I have 9 divided by 3, and I have 3 times 5. Now I need to continue to follow the order of operations, so I need to think multiplication or division, whichever comes first from left to right. So I'm actually going to solve 9 divided by 3 first, even though we see the M in front of the D in PEMDAS. I need to do that division first because that's what comes first. So 9 divided by 3 is 3, and I need to do 12 plus parentheses 3 times 5 end of parentheses. Notice as I'm copying, I'm continuing to copy the parentheses and the brackets. Now I'm going to finish solving what's in the parentheses, and 3 times 5 is 15. And I'm going to copy the problem over and get 12 plus 15. So I've done my parentheses, done the exponents. There's no more of these. I'm on to addition, and 12 plus 15 is 27. And that is my final answer, 27. Final problem. Again, I'm going to make myself a little checklist off to the side. And this is tricky because I see parentheses, I see brackets, and I see braces, so I don't want that to confuse me. I'm going to start with the parentheses because they're the innermost. So 12 minus 2 is the first thing I'm going to solve, and I'm going to get 10. Now I'm going to copy the problem. So 4 plus braces, 2 plus bracket, 3 times end of bracket, end of braces, okay, because I solved 12 minus 2 and I don't need those parentheses anymore. Next up is in the brackets, so 3 times 10 is 30. So I'm going to write the problem 4 plus braces, 2 plus 30, end of braces. And lastly, I'm going to solve what's in the braces, 2 plus 30 is 32. And I'm going to copy the problem exactly as written. I've done my parentheses, exponents, there's no multiplication and division left. It's just addition, and 4 plus 32 is 36, and that is my final answer. So as you can see, these problems were a little bit more complicated, but as long as you remember to follow the order of operations and you think about starting with the innermost grouping symbol, parentheses, and working your way through parentheses, brackets, and then braces, you can solve any problem using the order of operations. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you learned a lot today.